Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back for your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Xinfin Network, aka XDC. So with that being said, I hope everybody's having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there watching in the world from. Listen, I have been watching XDC very close. What's crazy about this thing is I'm looking back at that time where we did go to the all-time high, and then I'm also looking at where we are at now. What's crazy is that from that all-time high, we had this nice trail down, right? Nice little run up back in April, trail down, goes sideways for a little bit of time, boom, expansion to the upside. Now we're trailing down, we're going sideways, and we're just waiting for the next move here. In my opinion, this next move is going to take us from anywhere between 10 to 15 cents, and that is going to be the thing that ignites the move to a new all-time high on XDC. I believe that XDC is more than ready and more than capable of breaking over that 20+ cent zone. The market cap for this thing and the overall value behind XDC is ridiculous. This thing is extremely overlooked, extremely undervalued in my opinion, and I've been talking about it almost every other day on this channel because XDC has become an absolute giant in the space. Now, it has been a little bit of time since I did do an update on XDC. I've been extremely busy, but there is so much to talk about in this video, and I do want to address a lot of it. So with that in mind, before I fully continue on, I just want to give a big shout out to the Web3 Alert. This is my media company's account. Please, if you guys can go subscribe and go check out some of the videos. Guys, this is going to be a game changer of a YouTube platform because what we are going to be doing is a ton of educational deep dive content. We're going to be talking about some project updates, talking about some news happening behind the scenes, what's going to create value for a lot of these major projects like XRP, for an example. XDC will be mentioned quite a bit as well. We've already did a deep dive on XDC multiple times, but I'm telling you guys, this is going to be an account that you want to make sure that you are subscribed to, make sure that you have the notifications turned on because we are going to try to upload every other day. We will probably get to the daily upload span on this channel eventually once I bring on more individuals because right now it's just me and Tokenizer that are running the show. But if you guys do want to go check it out, there will be links down in the description below as in the comments below. Now, with that in mind, let's dive on in. So Swift recently announced a massive bombshell. Now, everyone's going to say XDC and Xinfin's getting replaced, but that is not the case. We do see from Swift, did you know that 98% of global trade still relies on paper bills of lading? There's a huge opportunity to make this process more efficient through digitization. Find out how we've teamed up with BNY Mellon, Deutsche Bank, and 4 trade platforms, CargoX, eDocs Online, TradeGo Official, and WaveBL, to create a solution capable of helping drive the widespread adoption of electronic bills of lading. Now, again, everyone's going to say, XDC, where's XDC? Remember what the co-founder and CEO of XDC Network said, collaboration first with TradeFinex. All of these players mentioned here have ties back to the TFDI, the DNI. They are all collaborating here. This is significant. But also, I'm going to talk to you guys more about Swift here in a second. But we do see industry-wide collaboration is essential to achieve a zero-paper trade future. This is from the global head of wholesale payments and trade strategy at Swift. Pretty crazy to see a lot of this stuff getting brought up in conversation because for well over a year plus, we have been talking about how the trade finance game is changing and how XDC is at the forefront of this. We do see Swift enables global trade interoperability in successful trials. This was on December 7th. In collaboration with BNY Mellon, Deutsche Bank, and 4 electronic bills of lading platforms, we've successfully tested an interoperability solution capable of enabling the widespread use of electronic documents that are critical to digitized trade. They talk about the $2.5 trillion trade finance gap and how paper-based bills of lading associated with lengthy delays and inefficient processes offer a significant opportunity for improvement. And it's definitely interesting to see the growth here as well, because even McKinsey, they predicted that adopting EBL, right, the electronic bills of lading, could save the industry $6.5 billion a year and enable $40 billion in global trade by 2030. That's why there is so much adoption happening on this front around trade finance. And remember the documents that we found. They said that trade finance is going to be the starting industry for adoption of this new age technology. But they also do mention there's much room for optimism. The FIT Alliance is the one to focus on. For instance, around 80 institutions have signed up to the FIT Alliance's declaration of the electronic bills of lading, which commits international trade stakeholders to drive digitalization within their industries, starting with EBL. And the Electronic Trade Documents Act is also being mentioned. That did go live in September. This is a huge one. It grants the electronic trade documents the same legal significance as the paper equivalent and gives EBL, created under different systems, legal equivalency for the first time. But interoperability is crucial. And remember, XDC was brought in with the TFDI, that has all of the major banks on it, to be the one that is the interoperability standard for this. I also think that this is why XDC is collaborating with Quant and has that integration within the Overledger platform. But there's also a few other interoperability solutions that are already there for XDC for this specific use case. TradeFinex is the number one thing that comes to mind with this. But they even do mention CBDCs as well. And then they do talk about the collaborative solution with this. And they even talk about using the same API layer and things like that. Again, APIs are going to be the big thing to really kind of look at here. But we know a lot of these players are already tapped in with the TFDI and many other platforms that are collaborating, or organizations, not platforms, that are collaborating on, these major platforms to be the global standard around trade finance. Standards set with the industry combined with global interoperability facilitated by SWIFT can enable EBL providers and digital trade platforms to seamlessly interact with banks, corporates, and the wider trade ecosystem as well. And here's the positive outcome. They do mention this and really kind of just quote that same exact quote that I just read, but they also do say what's next. While our solution has the potential to enable EBL interoperability over SWIFT, more collaborative work is needed before a production-ready solution can be developed. Remember, the collaborative work that is being done is by all of these trade finance initiatives. These are the major ones that I'm looking at, like the TFDI, the DNI, etc. But also remember, right? Back in August, on August 17th, I said, wow, XDC is more bullish to me today than ever before. The ICC just announced a collaboration with SWIFT for creating a standard model API for guarantees and standby letters of credit. This is aimed at widespread implementation. This is that API model. What we just read at the bottom there is how they are tapped in with API initiatives to accomplish what they're trying to do here, which is interoperability at global scale. Read some of the quotes regarding this initiative. Wow, specifically this one. As adoption of the standards accelerates, businesses will also benefit from improved security and liquidity in the guarantee space. This is part of SWIFT's continued collaboration with the ICC and the community to create a future-ready digital trade ecosystem anchored in common standards and interoperability. Now look at what TradeFinex is doing, their overall objective, and also read what Atul Kakade said regarding TradeFinex. SWIFT is currently piloting on this network, the most suitable and enterprise-friendly public network for financial instruments, a $5 trillion a day market. The governing members can opt for a master node of a Xinfin network, the underlying blockchain network, or opt for a hybrid council node. Hybrid council nodes can combine R3 Corda Enterprise, Hyperledger Basu Enterprise, or Oracle Enterprise node with the Xinfin master node. I mean it when I say XDC is seriously one of the most overlooked giants in the space. I hold many altcoins, but when it comes to Xinfin, this is the real deal. Most are underexposed to what XDC is becoming, and most don't even realize how big XDC will be. September, the Electronic Trade Documents Bill goes live. This will change the game. It's all coming together. And here you guys have some of these quotes. This is the API model that they were talking about back in August. This is from the ICC and SWIFT. Also over here, some of the quotes, you guys can read them if you want. Again, this is the collaboration that's actually happening. This is so crucial to mention because these APIs will play a vital role in changing the entire way everything works. And over here, this is the quotes. This is TradeFinex. TradeFinex's aim is to minimizing global infrastructure deficit by enabling peer-to-peer financing between governments, corporations, buyers, and suppliers, suitable for a private distributed network of participants like investors, governments, institutions, and suppliers across the world. Remember, this is interoperability. They are the interoperability platform. An instant cross-border settlement mechanism through its native token XDC. Smart contracts built on Ethereum platform can be mapped to real-world contracts. XDCs can be utilized to incentivize financiers to fund projects with low buyer and seller rating. Equity exchange, which can be built over XDC for projects that want to raise capital. And then also over here, Swift is currently piloting on this network. Xinfin Network runs the KYC enforced delegated proof of stake governance driven masternodes, making it the most suitable and enterprise friendly public network for financial instruments, a $5 trillion a day market. Bridges relay limited sets of data and transactions onto Xinfin public network from legacy systems and private blockchain platforms like R3's Corda as well, which is backed by 200 institutions. Guys, when we really look at what's happening here, like XDC is in with the big boys. Like this is a massive player. And also, check this quote out as well. This is from CryptoNerd. XDC TradeFinex seeks to set standards in private credit. There are multiple ways of creating this network effect. One is working with Swift and complementing the massive rails that they've built to take it to non-bank private credit investors market. Other is building a network effect ground up by ourselves through partnerships and pilot transactions. Again, this is so crucial to mention considering the fact that they have been trying to collaborate with Swift for years. And I do believe that they're already tapped in with Swift on, I think that this happened with TradeFinex initially because the documents that we found, we seen that Swift was already tapped in with TradeFinex. And this is built with XDC. Like this is built upon XDC. This is huge. As explained in point 1, Swift was designed when the global economy was fractional to the size of what it is today and only accessible to a network of handful of banks and corporates. TradeFinex, as a protocol along with tokenization from XDC Trade Network, now allows millions of MSMEs to access capital from private credit investors through thousands of fintech originators. There are multiple ways of creating this network effect. One is working with Swift and complementing the massive rails that they've built to take it to non-bank private credit investors market. Other is building a network effect ground up by ourselves through partnerships and pilot transactions. But they're doing both. They're already doing both because they have a ton of partnerships already. And outside of this, their network effects are massive considering the fact that they're on the TFDI, they're working with the ICC, they're working with the DNI. These are all major networking effects and networking that they've done to accomplish these network effects. And we already know that TradeFinex, Swift is piloting on this network. This is crazy when you look at the POCs that are being ran by Swift to enable interoperability and connecting through APIs. And also, the co-founder of XDC Network just came out with this massive statement. Tokenization of millions of trade documents will enable a large part of over 30 trillion on TradeFinex to go completely digital. Imagine the demand of the actual network here. And here we have, when Swift was started around 1973, size of the global GDP was about 5.5 trillion. Today, it's over 100 trillion. So it's 20 times the size of what Swift was designed for. So they need to tap in. Now they need to look in to these other networks. And tokenization is a massive game changer, as we do see outlined here. Tokenization standards created by XDC Trade Network enable verification of all types of trade documents at source. Nearly enables tens of trillions of trade assets to be verified, transferability in completely electronic form, fractionalized access as well. Guys, I'm telling you right now, when we look at what's happening here with XDC and TradeFinex, like TradeFinex, that's the secret sauce. I've said it back in May, I said it back in June, July, even August, and I will continue to say it. You need to be focused on TradeFinex because they are an absolute giant here. And I do believe that Xinfin is heavily involved with what Swift is doing. And also, by the way, big shout out to Anderson because he did respond back to this post. He said, looking interesting. Here's the ITFA, the International Trade and Forfeiting Association, Andre Kasserman, fintech consultant advising clients on payments, trade finance, and capital markets. He spent 20 plus years at Swift. Guys, pay attention to the significant connections that are happening right now and pay attention to what's happening with XDC. I do believe that anyone that is missing out on what XDC is doing and becoming will truly feel extremely disappointed that all of this information was out there, yet they didn't really look into XDC at a time where it's so crucial to. This is going to be a giant in the future, and in the next couple months, I do believe that XDC is also going to become a big player in this space. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join for your Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.